Well, hi, and welcome to Bold Women Lawyers Spotlight. Today we're going to have a lesson in what you do when all the technology goes sideways, because that's just what happened. I was scheduled to have Lisa Nichols of Tiro Strategies here with me today. Lisa's an expert in social media. She has great things to tell you. And unfortunately, every time she tried to get on the broadcast with me, she had no audio. And we tried everything. Now, I'm no technical guru for sure, but we tried everything we could. We had her come in and out of the studio, the virtual studio, a couple of times and change her settings and change her microphone and change everything. Nothing worked. Nothing worked. So it's very frustrating for her and for me because I've known Lisa for a while now, and she's excellent at what she does, and she has great things to tell you. Now, the good news is that Lisa is going to be coming back. So she just messaged me that she's sorry to miss it, but we will fix it, and we will fix it and get her back. Because as I said, this is something you don't want to miss. She is a wealth of information about all things social media. So I'm going to talk a little bit just about my experience with social media. I'll give you a couple of tips just based on what I've done and the results I've had and some of the mistakes I've made. So, the thing about social media is you either love it or you hate it, or you love some of it, but you don't love other parts of it. But what you have to remember from a business point of view is this, lesson one. How you might feel about a particular social media platform makes no difference whatsoever. The only thing that's important from a business point of view is the platform one that your ideal client uses? Because you may love Facebook and you spend a lot of time on Facebook, both personally and related to business. But if your ideal clients don't use Facebook, then you're wasting your time, at least from a business perspective. So the first thing you want to think about as you look at social media as a marketing vehicle for your business is just that. Is my ideal client here? Because as I said, if they're not there, don't waste your time. So once you figure out what platform or platforms your ideal client uses, then you want to decide for yourself which one or two would be the most beneficial for you. And you may find that, your ideal clients use all of the platforms across the board, but which ones do they use the most? Because you will spread yourself too thin if you try to be on TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on and on and on, Instagram, Pinterest, all of them, and probably plenty that I don't even know about. You're going to spread yourself too thin trying to be on all of those platforms, or you'll manage to get yourself on all of those platforms, but you will not have the time to be there consistently enough to make a difference. Because that's the next thing you want to understand about social media. It's a long-term strategy, and you need to be posting about your area of practice consistently. Some people say ideally every day. And I will tell you, I can't hit it every day, but I do actually, with some help, I do hit it every day. But that's only with help. I can't do that myself because it is time consuming. And you are a busy lawyer, so you're not going to have, in all probability, time every day to create and post meaningful content. So that's the third thing I want to talk to you about, content. Now, Lisa has taught me a great strategy for being able to create content and create a way to plan it out 6 months ahead or longer if you want, so that I'm not constantly racking my brain trying to figure out what am I going to talk about next. And I have some plan in place to put out content on specific topics in a semi-organized way. And that becomes important because otherwise, I mean, I found what I was doing was I'd be talking about this topic this week, that topic next week, another topic the third week, and they were not interrelated. And so once I learned how to figure out what the main topic was going to be and then be able to come up with significant amounts of subtopics, it made it so much easier. So for example, if you are, let's say you're in family law, and you post something about divorce one day and about adoption another day, and then maybe you're talking about child custody, and then maybe you're talking about alimony, and then maybe you're talking about some other aspect. I've never done family law, so I couldn't give you a list. But my point is that it would be much easier if you said, okay, so for the month of May, I'm going to talk about divorce from the perspective of assets and alimony and how assets get split up, et cetera. And then the next month, you're going to talk about divorce related to child custody issues or shared custody or all of the things that come up dealing with the children. And then maybe the following month, you're going to talk about some things post-divorce issues and how do you deal with those, et cetera. So you can come up with a list of the main topics, and then under each main topic, create a bunch of subtopics to make it much easier on yourself to be able to create the content. All of that having been said, and I will tell you, I've done, various forms of social media for a long time, first in my law firm, and now as a business coach. And the one lesson I learned very early on was me trying to do it all myself was a huge mistake because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how was I going to record. And this was pre-Zoom days. I mean, I started on YouTube, I don't know, 15 years ago, maybe. And I went there, I'll be honest, kicking and screaming at the time. I hated YouTube. I didn't want to have any parts of it until I realized that, but my potential clients are actually there and they're looking for information on YouTube. I was a disability lawyer, and that's where my potential clients would go in terms of social media. And once I understood that, then I said to myself, all right, I got to figure this out. I'm not sure how to do it without spending a huge amount of money, but I got to figure this out. And at the time, I didn't even have an iPad, but I hired a college student who was in a communications major. She knew all about shooting video on an iPad. I bought an iPad. I hired her as a part-time assistant. She would come to my office. At the time, that's how we did it. She'd come, she'd shoot video, and then she would take it and upload it, and she added music and she'd add captions and stuff. She knew how to do all that. She was a college student. And she was good at it. And so that's how I got started. And I moved on from there, and she graduated. And then I actually did hire somebody, a marketing person who did that and a whole lot of other things. But that's how I got started. It was very easy to do. I ended up we would shoot 3 videos, short videos a week, put them up. And, over time, didn't happen immediately, but over time, the phone started ringing, and that's where people were seeing me. They were seeing me on YouTube, and I was answering their questions. So the importance of social media is not that that you have to be really good, honestly, at doing video or speaking. I mean, you need to practice, but you're not trying to win an Oscar or anything like that. You don't have to get your hair done. You don't have to get makeup done. You know, you want to look nice, but you don't have to be fancy. You do have to give a potential client helpful information. That's what they're looking for. That's what you want to put out. The other thing that social media does for you, whatever platform you use, is it gives potential clients a way to start to get to know you before they've ever met you, before they've ever spoken one-on-one with you. And we all know from studying marketing in any business, service-based business for sure, before somebody will do business with you, will hire you to represent them, they need to feel like they know, like, and can trust you. And certainly trust is huge for clients of lawyers. They need to know, like, and trust you. And social media platforms are a great way for people to start to understand who you are, not just what you know, but who you are, what your personality's like. Are you somebody that they feel like they can work with, that they'd be comfortable with? So social media has tremendous value for lawyers, particularly lawyers in solo and small firms, because it is something that you can do that is relatively low cost. And yet the playing field is even between you and the bigger law firms because the social media platforms are all the same. So I encourage you to try it. And please keep your eyes open for the announcement of when we're going to bring Lisa back, because we're going to get her back. We'll work out all the technical details, and you won't want to miss what she has to say, because you will learn a lot from her. Now, we are doing another live video this week, actually, which is unusual because I usually am only here on Tuesdays, but this Thursday from 2 to 3, I am doing a LinkedIn Live with my good friend, Catherine Taylor. Catherine's a business lawyer. She's my business lawyer. She was my business lawyer when I had my law firm, and she's my business lawyer now for my coaching business. And she's going to be talking about the difference between an independent contractor and an employee. I know that was always a sticky issue for me, wanting to make sure that I wasn't crossing the line the wrong way. So she's going to come and talk about that. She can answer any questions that you have about independent contractor versus employee, as well as any other general business law questions. So I hope you can join us then. And in the meantime, have a great rest of your day.